Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're uncovering the hidden math behind a massive financial mystery. Seriously, we're going to look at how two identical salaries can create two completely different lives. Imagine two engineers. Let's call them Troy and Chad. Both graduated together, they make nearly identical six-figure salaries, and they literally live in the exact same neighborhood. From the outside, their lives look practically the same. But there is one massive, wealth-destroying difference sitting right in plain sight. It's their driveways.
So let's dive right in and ask a question that really defines modern middle-class wealth, or, well, the lack of it. What exactly is the new car penalty? I'll tell you right now, it is not just the sticker price difference between a new car and a used one. It's an entire system. It's a self-perpetuating debt machine that the auto industry has masterfully designed to pull wealth straight out of your pocket. To see how this machine actually works, check out this comparison between our two guys. Troy is driving a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 Lariat with a blistering $1,000 monthly payment. Chad, on the other hand, drives a 2020 Toyota Camry that he bought used and paid off completely last spring. Because of this single lifestyle choice, today Troy has just $14,000 in his 401k, while Chad has a whopping $340,000. Troy's driveway is keeping him mathematically trapped working until he's 72, but Chad? He's on a glide path to retire comfortably at 54.
Which brings us to the first big piece of this puzzle, the death of the 5-year loan, or how cars essentially became mortgages with cup holders. To understand the trap Troy fell into, we really have to look at how the auto industry completely shifted the goalposts on what a car actually costs. Back in 1995, the average new car in America ran you about $20,000. By 2010, that ticked up to $29,000. But by late 2025, that number crossed $50,000 for the very first time in history. And if you want a full-size pickup like Troy's, the average price is now over $66,000. Like we always say, that's not a car. That is essentially a mortgage with cup holders.
Now, because almost nobody can actually afford a $50,000 car on a traditional 3-year loan, the industry had to invent a treadmill. Dealers started focusing you entirely on the monthly payment, quietly stretching out the loan term to make the math look a bit more manageable. Today, the average car loan sits at 69 months. And get this, an incredible 1 in 5 new buyers is signing a massive 84-month contract. That is 7 full years. Think about that for a second. When you sign an 8-year loan on a machine that might not even survive the loan term without a major expensive rebuild, you are making a catastrophic financial error. You are, quite literally, leasing a snowman. You're signing up for a decade of payments on something that is actively melting away in your driveway.
And that melting away is what we call the depreciation cliff, where you're essentially torching your retirement just for that new car smell.
The secret killer making those 84-month payments so incredibly dangerous is this cliff. And the word cliff really isn't an exaggeration here. The absolute second you drive a new car off the lot, before the license plates are even screwed on, it loses roughly 20% of its value. Boom, gone. Within 5 years, the average car has lost 42% of what you paid for it. And if you bought an electric vehicle, the math is even more brutal. 5-year EV depreciation averages a staggering 57%. So while your buddy thinks he's saving, say, $1,500 a year on gas, he's actually taking a $60,000 haircut in lost vehicle value. Now, sure, some vehicles hold up better, like the Toyota Tacoma, which only drops about 34%, but those are definitely the exception, not the rule.
For the average buyer, this means you are quite literally torching retirement money to maintain that pristine new car smell. You're losing up to $5,000 every single year, just in depreciation alone. Honestly, that is more than most people contribute to their retirement accounts annually, and it's just vanishing into thin air.
So, what happens next? This brings us to the negative equity flywheel. This is the auto industry's self-perpetuating debt machine.
The crucial point here is what happens when people inevitably get tired of these rapidly depreciating cars and try to trade them in for something shiny and new. This is exactly where the trap snaps shut. By late 2025, a record 29.3% of trade-ins toward new vehicles had negative equity. That means nearly 1 in 3 people trading in a car owed the bank more than the car was actually worth. The average person in this scenario was underwater by over $7,200.
But instead of making you pay off that gap out of pocket, the finance manager offers this elegant, totally easy solution. They just roll that old debt right into your next loan. So, step 1, you trade in your underwater car.
Step 2, you start a brand new 84-month loan with $10,000 of phantom debt from a car you don't even own anymore. And step 3, 3 years later, when you want a new ride, you do it all over again, rolling even more debt forward.
This negative equity flywheel is a debt machine perfectly designed to extract a 15-year revenue stream right out of your pocket. The faster you spin, the deeper you sink. It is truly the financial equivalent of running on a treadmill in quicksand. Which begs the question, why do smart, high-earning people like Troy fall for this? Well, it all comes down to the identity trap and dealer tactics. You see, you aren't buying transportation, you're claiming a tribal membership.
The auto industry sells identity. Those rugged truck commercials sell you the fantasy that you're this hardcore mountain climber, even if the most off-road driving you ever do is, parking on the grass at a kid's birthday party. They exploit our deepest insecurities to make us feel that claiming a tribal membership through a vehicle brand is worth 72 months of our life's labor. And that trap is finalized in the F&I, the Finance and Insurance Office. While you're tired and just ready to take the keys and go home, the average dealership generates over $2,500 in pure profit per vehicle right there in that room. They mark up your approved interest rate by 1% to 2%, which silently costs you around $1,400. They sell you gap insurance for $700 that your regular insurance would probably sell you for $30, and they use these confusing four-square worksheets to juggle the numbers until you are just too dizzy to realize they raised the overall price while pretending to lower your monthly payment.
So let's look at the true wealth equation. We need to see the real costs of these two totally different lives over a 12-year period.
Let's return to our two engineers, Troy and Chad, to see exactly how these dealership tactics, the long loans, and that brutal depreciation math compounded over 12 years of their actual lives. Side by side, Troy kept rolling his negative equity forward into newer and newer trucks. He completely fell for the flywheel. Eventually, his monthly payment crossed the $1,000 mark. Today, he has a beautiful truck worth $38,000, sure, but he owes the bank $42,000 on it. Chad took a totally different route. He bought a $16,000 used Camry with a $317 payment. He paid it off early and eventually bought his next used car with cash, eliminating car payments entirely.
But here is where Chad really won the game. He didn't just take that extra money and spend it. He took the $400 to $700 monthly difference between his modest lifestyle and Troy's luxury lifestyle, and he automatically invested it into a low-cost index fund. Assuming a 7% return, Chad watched his diverted car money grow into an astonishing $147,000 in just one account over those 12 years.
This reveals the heartbreaking and honestly entirely avoidable reality of the new car penalty. Because Troy's money went to depreciating steel and dealership profit, he is mathematically trapped into working until he is 67 or even 72 just to service his lifestyle debt. Chad, with the exact same salary and the exact same starting point, is on track to retire at 54. It's not just the price difference between a shiny truck and a used sedan, it is the massive, irreversible difference between two entirely different life trajectories.
The core lesson here is profound. The car you drive isn't the cost. The car you don't buy is the wealth. Every single dollar that doesn't go into a rapidly depreciating asset on your driveway becomes a dollar that compounds for the next 30 years in your investment portfolio. Simply put, Troy bought a truck. Chad bought time.
So the next time you feel the urge to upgrade your ride, to walk onto that lot and take in that intoxicating new car smell, stop. Stop and ask yourself this final question. Are you funding your own financial freedom, or are you just signing up for another decade of leasing and identity? Run the math, take control of your wealth, and we'll see you in the next explainer.